this has been a long journey. There's so much backstory to all of this. In November of 2017, we thought I had about a year left, and we were thinking, okay, maybe we'll have a baby sometime soon. Fast forward a couple of months, in April of 2018, I was ready. I decided that I wanted a baby at that point, and that month I was going to start using ovulation tests. So we used the ovulation tests in April, and obviously I was a little naive, and I was positive that I was pregnant. Yeah, clearly that didn't happen. And almost instantly, I was very disappointed, when I got my period, and I immediately thought something was wrong with me. And, month after month, we tried more ovulation tests. I went to the doctor, and she just told me, oh, don't use the ovulation test. That's a way for you not to get pregnant. Pretty much just do the baby dance after the 10th day of your cycle, and do it every other day, and, do that for a couple more months, and then, come back. So we tried that for a few months, and then we tried the ovulation test again, and I did a lot of research, and so we tried the ovulation test in a different way. Still didn't work. So it had been 9 months, and in November of 2018, that's when I was like, okay, we need some help. We took the steps to see some infertility doctors. Starting that process was probably one of the most difficult things. And at this point, there weren't hardly any people, that knew about this. We didn't want to tell people because, talking about it made it real. We still weren't sure if something was wrong with either one of us. And so, why tell a bunch of people and worry them when we don't know if something's wrong? And, it was kind of hard to admit that, we were having this problem. We also wanted it to be a surprise to our families and to our friends, instead of being like, hey, we've been trying to get pregnant, but it hasn't worked. Hopefully one day soon it does. We wanted it to be like, hey, surprise, we're pregnant. So we went through a bunch of blood tests, specimen tests, like, I don't even know how many times I had to go in and get my blood drawn. And when the blood test came in, I just had a doctor emailing me, hey, everything's normal. We're not, going to explain what we tested, but everything looks normal. Do these tests, and if these ones are normal, then, we'll go to the next step. It was kind of just like that, and we never got any explanation on, what was being tested, or, how what we were tested on was normal. So that was a frustrating couple of months. And then after everything looked normal, the doctor that I was emailing suggested doing a hysterosalpingogram, also known as an HSG, which is a live x-ray scan of the uterus and fallopian tubes. And what they do is they inject iodine dye into your uterus using a catheter, and they're looking for spillage from each fallopian tube. So, they inject the dye, and the spillage would come from either side. This was one of the most painful things I have ever gone through. And they had to attempt this multiple times, have a second doctor come in to attempt it 2 more times. and finally was able to do so. Finding that I had a blocked fallopian tube, and here I am in tears from being in so much pain, and I can see the x-ray scan next, or the live picture next to me, and I see that there's spillage from only one side. And one of the doctors comes up to me, and I'm in tears, and he goes, "So we see, that there's a blockage on your left side." And he's like, "But that's okay, you only need one. You only need one tube to get pregnant." And I'm like, "Okay, but there's obviously still something wrong." So I just went through physically a bunch of pain, and then finding out that I have a blocked fallopian tube, that was also a shock too. So that was just an emotional roller coaster of a day. I then, a couple days later, get an email from this doctor that I've never met, that I've just been emailing, telling me that the results of this HSG show that I either have a blockage on my left, of my left fallopian tube, or that my tube was spasming during the procedure. And she referred me to the infertility specialist in San Francisco. We go to the fertility doctor in San Francisco. We have that appointment, and I did not know what to expect. I was extremely nervous. We're in an exam room, and there's an ultrasound machine next to me. And they had to do an internal ultrasound, and he showed me my uterus, and he said that I had a gorgeous uterus. I didn't know that your uterus could be referred to that way, but mine was, so I was flattered. He showed me my right ovary, and he zoomed in a little bit, and he was pointing out these, little circles on the screen. And he pointed and he said, "Do you see these?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "These are your eggs." And he said, in typical women your age, you would see 6 or 7 eggs in each ovary. And I was showing 9 on that side. And at that point, I was crying because, I have the eggs, and that's a very good sign. And then he went to the left side, and he found 9 or 10 more eggs on that side. So after the exam, we go into his office, and we had an hour-plus conversation about our next steps. He explained to us all of the blood tests and everything that we had done thus far, and explained it in detail, what we were looking for, what they found, and finally gave us, those answers that we had been wondering this whole time. He told us, we could try doing a tubal recanalization, which is basically the HSG procedure that I had done, except this time they would put me to sleep and try and force open the blockage in my fallopian tube. So we scheduled the tubal recanalization to try to reopen the blockage in my fallopian tube, and even confirm that it was a blockage, as the other doctor said it could have been a spasm. So I go again to San Francisco. I was put to sleep, and when I woke up, I was, still in the hospital bed, and Adam was next to me. The first thing I asked was, did it work? And Adam was told by a nurse that the procedure was successful. The nurse that was with us at that time got a hold of the doctor's notes and also told us that the procedure was successful. So Adam and I left the city that day thinking that my left fallopian tube was reopened. The very next morning, the nurse calls and tells me that they could not unblock my left fallopian tube. And instantly, I panicked. I was extremely confused because we were told that the procedure was successful. The hope that I had been holding on to was pretty much gone. And here I was on my lunch break from work, having to go back to work. And it was probably, the kind of rock bottom of this whole process. And I basically asked her, okay, tears in my eyes, what do I do next? Can you please prescribe me the fertility medication? What do we need to do to schedule the IUI? So she told me she prescribed me the fertility medication that I would start taking on cycle day 3, and that I would have to do a follicle scan, another ultrasound, internal ultrasound in San Francisco on cycle day 9 or 10. So I had to set that up. That's pretty much not even all of the details, but most of what this process has led us to. Something that the fertility doctor talked to us about. He just told us that there's so many myths and so much misconception about, fertility, and so many women go through something like this, having difficulty getting pregnant or finding that they have a blocked fallopian tube. And there's so many other things that, women can go through that I don't even know. But it's just something that should be talked about more. And, right now it's such a common thing. Hey, you've been married for a year or 2. When are you going to have babies? Well, you don't know this, but we've been trying to have babies. And there's people out there that you ask that question to and they can't get pregnant, or there's people out there that don't want to have babies. There's so many different circumstances, and people are asking these questions innocently, but they're not knowing that, these questions are hurting people. And I don't want another woman to have to suffer in silence. It's been rough. It's been one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to go through, but it's so common that you don't have to feel like, you're less of a woman if you're having this difficulty. You don't have to feel like, something is only wrong with you. So many people are going through something like this. So let's talk about it more. And, it's like I said, personally, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to admit that something was wrong because that is scary. I feel you. I feel for you. And I understand your hurt and your guilt. And some of the things that you're going through, I might not understand, and I might not have gone through myself, but I'm always here to listen because I would never want someone to feel like they had to go through this alone. So we decided to explore, I guess is the word to use, our options of IUI, which is intrauterine insemination. And the process of that has been doing ultrasounds to see if I have mature eggs, and not only that, but if they're on the side, if they're gonna ovulate from the side that has the open tube. So we came all the way to San Francisco on Thursday, and we found that it appeared that the eggs that were maturing were on the right side, which is the side that is open. And I'd been taking medication to hopefully increase my egg production and possibly give us 2 eggs to work with. But the nurse on Thursday found that there was at least one that was looking like it was possibly the one that was gonna ovulate. It was measuring about 14 millimeters, and they need it to be at least 18 millimeters to show that it's mature. So they asked us to come back on Saturday, which is today. So we drove to the city again. And when we went in, we found that the egg that was 14 millimeters on Thursday is now 16 millimeters. It's growing, but it's not quite big enough yet. So like I said, they want it to be 18 millimeters or bigger. So she thinks it's going to continue to grow and prescribed us the HCG trigger shot. So we are going to inject that on Monday night and do our insemination on Wednesday. And then we have a long 2 weeks, a little bit more than 2 weeks to wait to see if it worked. How are you feeling?
Fine.
That's it. That's it?
Mm-hmm.
He's feeling fine. It's been a long journey, you know, before this, and it will continue to be a journey, but I'm excited for what's to come, and I'm sure there will be some more bumps in the road, but we've gotten through it together, so. Okay, so it is Monday night, March 18th, and I am heading over to Scott and Randy's house because Adam is at work, and it is time to do the HCG injection. It's a lot of pressure to ask somebody to be part of this process, but Randy willingly has agreed, and I'm very thankful for that because I don't think I can give myself this shot. Oh yeah, it's 9:09 p.m. and since Adam is at work, Randy's gonna be injecting me. Oh, look who showed up just in time. We are going to inject this in my stomach, and I'm a little nervous, but that's okay. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna pinch right here.
You want like right here?
Yeah.
This is like a 40.
Oh god! Oh
I'm
gosh.
not gonna fit through that. Is this like a 45?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh god. Are you gonna count to 3?
What? What?
Are you gonna count to 3?
1, 2, 3.
Ooh. Okay, now I'm gonna let go.
Yep, let go. Does it hurt?
Ooh, that kind of felt weird.
Does it hurt?
Are you done?
No.
Yeah, because I can. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going really slow.
Okay.
Where's the napkin?
I can feel it going in.
Okay. Where's the napkin?
Oh, right there. Thanks.
Ready?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Whew. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All done. What a pro. Okay, so today is Wednesday, March 20th. It's about 2:50. And I'm here at Kaiser just waiting for Adam. We are ready to do our insemination. I've had some right-sided cramping, which indicates ovulation, which is awesome. Thanks to Randy and her good shot-giving skills. I'm excited. I am nervous. I've had some really good feelings about this process. I'm very hopeful, and I'm very excited, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm kind of being quiet because we're in the room, but we are here waiting for the doctor to come in. Oh, I can't zoom. And I guess it's gonna be very quick and easy, like less than a minute it will take. And then I just gonna hang out and wait for the little guys to make it to my egg. So how do you feel, babe? You need more than 1-word answers.
No.
Anyways, I'm excited and I can't wait to see if it worked or not. If it didn't, that's okay. We'll try again, but I'm excited. Okay, so today is Wednesday, March 27th. I feel mostly excited, and most of the scenarios that I'm going over in my head are that this will be successful this time around. You know, and just with everything, you know, that I've gone through thus far, a lot of my thoughts have been negative, you know, because it's been a long process and we've been through a lot. So this, you know, at this moment, I am thinking very positively. I think that positive thinking, you know, can yield positive results. But at the same time, I am prepared, you know, for this not to be the right time. But everything happens for a reason, and when the right time for this comes, then that will be it. So today is Wednesday, April 3rd. It is the day that originally we were supposed to test to see if the IUI worked. I tested on Monday because I had a good feeling. The test was negative and I started my period today. So we were unsuccessful with the IUI this month. It's been a little difficult. I thought I was feeling a lot more positive, or I thought I would feel more positive about the possibility of it not working this month. I thought I would be a little more okay with it than I feel. I'm just feeling a little discouraged. And sometimes it's just hard to remain hopeful after it's been so long. And each month just leads to disappointment. I'm hoping our happily ever after is coming, and we'll start the next cycle of IUI. This month I'll be taking a double dose of the letrozole to hope that I produce 2 eggs instead of just 1. We'll go on the 15th to do another follicle scan and see if I'm ovulating from the side that has the open tube. And we'll kind of see how it goes. It's frustrating and overwhelming, and some days I just don't know how to feel or think. Some days I feel really positive and hopeful, and other days the disappointment and the worry kind of takes over. It's hard for our friends and family that know what's going on. You know, they don't ever know what to say or what not to say. And that's difficult, you know, for them. And you know, everybody, you know, wants to remain positive and wants us to remain positive, but it's just become a little difficult. It's been difficult. You know, it changes every day. So we'll hope that I can continue to find, you know, the positive in all of this, and just keep on pushing through. Okay, so it has been about 3 weeks since I've done my last video. Today is Saturday, April 27th. A lot has happened in the last 3 weeks. I quit my job, which was a big decision for me to make, and it was just causing too much stress on me, in addition to all the stress that I'm going through throughout this process. So Adam and I just decided that to hopefully keep me sane, decrease my stress levels, because I know stress is a big part of getting pregnant. You know, we just decided for right now that I need to take some time to relax and kind of focus on making this work. So for the month of April, I started the letrozole again, except this time I was taking a double dose to try to have my body produce more than 1 egg, which just increases your chances of getting pregnant through the IUI process. I took that from cycles day 3 through 5, a double dose, and on cycle day 12, which was about 2 weeks ago, and we drove to San Francisco for our follicle scan. And the first thing the nurse does is measure my uterine lining. And when she was doing that, you know, it was kind of taking a little bit longer, and she pointed out to us, she found what she thought is a fibroid on my uterus. Now she said that she wasn't positive because she only has, you know, such good technology with what she was working with, but judging by the shape of my uterus, there was something that is on it. So we couldn't do IUI this month. Next month I have to go and get a saline sonogram to see if they can really find out what this is on my uterus. We're not quite sure why the previous tests and ultrasounds that we've done haven't picked this up, but the nurse said that it could be new. It could be due to endometriosis, which I was symptomatically diagnosed with, I think when I was 13 or so. So hopefully this saline sonogram is going to give us more information about what this is, but that also means that we can't do IUI next month either. So it's been more of a roller coaster, more bumps in the road for us. And it's hard to remain positive when you continue to get bad news. So I'm trying to look at it as a positive thing that, you know, maybe if this is a fibroid on my uterus, that once we take care of it, hopefully that's what's been keeping us from getting pregnant, you know, all this time. So that's my update. I will do another update again soon. Today is Friday, May 10th. On Monday, we did the, what's it called, saline sonogram, or attempted it, to try to find out more about the fibroid that's on my uterus. It was unsuccessful, or wasn't successfully completed, because of the balloon not being able to stay in place or something. I don't know. The doctor wasn't very helpful and didn't quite explain what was wrong. So the nurse that originally found the fibroid talked with Dr. Nelson, who is our RE in San Francisco, and they decided that an MRI would be best. So they called me this morning and to set up the appointment for the MRI, and it ended up that there was a cancellation tonight. So I ended up being able to do the MRI right away, which was awesome. It has been the least painful thing that I've had to do so far. I can't really hear very well out of my right ear at the moment, but it was worth it because hopefully we'll get some of this sorted out. So I will do another video if and when the next update comes along. Hopefully that will be on Monday, when we figure out the deal with this fibroid. All right, until next time. Just a quick update here. Today is Monday. On Saturday, Adam and I had plans to go do some shopping for Mother's Day and get our mothers, you know, gifts. And we had, in the morning, that morning I had been having some mild cramping, but we left the house and we got down the street and we stopped to get some Starbucks, and I was gonna run into the store to get some of my heartburn medicine, and the pain started to get a little, you know, a little worse. And I just had mentioned it again to Adam, like, this pain's weird. I leave the store, get back to the car, and I just told Adam, you know, something is wrong. I was in so much pain that I was in tears, and Adam decided that with the amount of pain that I was in, that he was just going to take me to the emergency room. So long story short, in the emergency room, the doctor comes in and, you know, tells me, oh, I checked over your, you know, I looked at your scan from your MRI last night, and I believe that the cyst on your ovary ruptured. And to my surprise, I had a cyst on my left ovary. I had no idea about this cyst. And since it was the weekend, we wouldn't have heard from our doctors in San Francisco until, today or sometime this week. They did an ultrasound, they did blood work, they did a urine test. And in the ultrasound, that technician was extremely patient and, took her time trying to get, the pictures, and found that the cyst that was on my left ovary was smaller than it was the night before in the MRI. And she found that there are actually 2 fibroids in my uterus, or on my uterus. One is outside of my uterus, and the other is inside my uterine wall. I set up a phone appointment with our nurse for Wednesday at 3 o'clock. And hopefully we can get some more information. So, we've got quite the story. What can you do? You just are along for the ride, and hopefully at the end, we'll have a baby out of all of this. So we'll see what happens with my next update.